Well, now on to our 2022 primary election coverage. Candidates hoping to become Ohio's next U.S. Senator crisscrossed the state today. A field of Republican candidates are trying to align themselves with former President Trump, even after he endorsed attorney J.D. Vance. It's left other candidates in that race having to answer questions about how they position themselves ahead of Tuesday's primary. 10 TV's Richard Solomon joins us now with a look at a busy Saturday for these Republicans. Richard?
Well, Bennett, several Republican candidates are fighting for Ohio's Senate seat in the Washington, D.C., and many of them traveling today with big political names.
With just days to go until the May 3rd primary, Republican candidates running for a seat in the U.S. Senate are making their last push. In Columbus today, candidate Josh Mandel held a rally at the High Street Baptist Church. Alongside him, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz. If elected, Mandel plans to end early voting and only limit absentee voting to senior citizens, people who are disabled, and overseas and military voters.
We're running this campaign in a non-traditional way. I'm the only Senate candidate in Ohio that's running his campaign through churches instead of through traditional Republican Party groups.
The majority of Republican candidates, including Mandel, pushed to get former President Trump's endorsement. That went to J.D. Vance, who was also campaigning around Ohio on Saturday, alongside Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. In Westchester, he spoke to supporters on the changes he feels are needed to be made, starting with the White House.
I'm sick of being a country that used to be the most powerful industrial economy in the world. Now it doesn't even make enough of its own stuff. We have a terrible inflation crisis in this country.
Republicans are trying to get the seat being vacated by Senator Rob Portman. Senator Portman alongside candidate Jane Timken on Saturday. Timken says she thinks Ohio voters are aware of her track record, and she's in support of energy independence and securing the border.
It doesn't change the fact that President Trump supported me to become chair of the Republican Party, and it doesn't change the fact that I helped deliver Ohio for President Trump.
Senator Matt Dolan was door knocking today after gaining the endorsement of former Ohio Governor Bob Taft. Cleveland businessman Mike Gibbons took his bus and campaign to Dublin. The primary race almost coming to the finish line.
And new polling from Emerson College shows J.D. Vance in the lead following the Trump endorsement, followed closely behind by Josh Mandel, then Matt Dolan, then Mike Gibson. Bennett?
Richard, thanks so much. And the Democrats were also making their presence known along the campaign trail. Tim Ryan was campaigning in northern Ohio today and tweeting about the Republican J.D. Vance and his two campaign guests today. As Richard mentioned, members of Congress Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling them, quote, the worst of the worst. That's what Tim Ryan tweeted. Meanwhile, Democrat Morgan Harper was also on the campaign trail today as well. She tweeted about her stops in Columbus and the Zanesville area. The candidates in the governor's race are also on the trail today. Democratic governor candidate Nan Whaley was also in Columbus for an event. She spoke to supporters and attendees before hitting the German Village neighborhood for some door knocks there. Columbus City Council members, including Nick Bankston and Shayla Favor, joined her today. Whaley has been endorsed by the Columbus City Council. And Governor Mike DeWine was also on the trail. He tweeted out pictures of his stop today in Chillicothe. Former Cincinnati Mayor John Cranley was in Lucas County pushing for votes. Cranley and state lawmaker Teresa Fetter expressed the love for early voting. Cranley's message is to end the war on drugs here in Ohio. He wants to legalize marijuana and invest that tax revenue back into some of our communities. And remember, Monday is the last day for early voting here in Ohio. The primary election begins on Tuesday. That's May 3rd. 10 TV will be there with all the coverage and updates as the election gets underway.